sayyari, Iranian Navy's commander, who has been watching closely these drills until this very point in time. Actually, they are going back to the sea after this interview right away. So I'm really thankful for him to give us this, brief moment to talk about the latest developments with this particular drills. Admiral, thank you for having this conversation with us. سوال اولم اینه که
My first question is the Islamic Republic of Iran. How does it take serious American-Israeli threats? Well, as the armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and I, as the commander of the Iranian Navy, I am obliged to see any measure needed in our realm. If we feel any threat, we need to look at it as a threat and get prepared to counter it. This is the duty of the Iranian armed forces, and that's why we have always tried our best to continuously watch all the movements in the region. We're careful of watching them, we are assessing them and evaluating them. We identify the threats, we then evaluate them, and then get ready for any kind of threat from anywhere. Thanks for the answer. I have some more questions. Now, there are some claims that America and Israel are launching some secretive and covert wars against Iran. If there is a bomb, for example, exploded somewhere or something goes wrong, they claim that it's America and Israel behind all these sensitive points. For example, Iranian nuclear sites or missile sites. Is it a psychological war? Well, this is all just fable. It's not true. They're not waiting to see something that might happen anywhere in the world. If they're waiting for that to happen in Iran, and then they say that this is their job, this is terrible to do. It shows the weak point of mechanism or any country to just sit tight and wait for something, for a mishap to happen somewhere, and they say, I was behind. This is the job of terrorists. This shouldn't be like this. I think this kind of mindset, this kind of outlook is indicative of weakness. It shouldn't be so. A few days ago you had an interview with Press TV, and a few hours later the U.S. administration and the Defense Department actually issued a statement saying that Iran cannot even close the Strait of Hormuz for one single day. They claim that the 10-day maneuver of yours that you're staging in the Persian Gulf, and the Sea of Oman, the Strait of Hormuz, and the Indian Ocean. This is what they call illogical. But I think, this is the question I have. If this maneuver, this strategic point area is illogical, why should the U.S. and some other regionalist states also follow such maneuvers constantly? Who is doing something illogical here? Well, logical or illogical for the Navy maneuvers has nothing to do. It's not anybody else's job. What we do is logical in our eyes, and based on the time frame that we have for our military drills, we're pushing things forward. For it to be logical, it's our job, and we never ask anybody about it. It's up to us. It's others' performance which is illogical. They are present in a region which does not belong to them, and they have military drills here. But they claim that we are bringing stability to the region. We are preserving this. Well, I have said this time and again that we are capable of preserving the stable and constant stability of the region, especially in participation of regional countries. And one of the goals of this drill is what we say is we're sending a message of peace and fraternity to regional countries, neighboring countries, and establishing the right grounds for participation and cooperation aimed at establishing a lasting peace and security. Presence of others in this region will only bring instability. Nowhere in the world, nobody can claim to see a foreigner, stranger go there and bring stability there. This is what is not logical. This is illogical. When you have this capability present in the region, on the ground, then bringing about stability and security is a simple thing to do, and it's logical. Admiral Sayyari, they say that they are trying to have sanctions on Iran, oil embargoes and stuff. If they do such things and don't allow Iran to transit its oil from the Persian Gulf, from the Strait of Hormuz, will Iran show any reaction? Well, in response to your previous question, I should have said when you asked, this is the same response. Well, they have said that we are not able to close the Strait of Hormuz. I just said from day one of our military drills that in this maneuver we're not aiming to close the Strait of Hormuz, because the closure of the Strait of Hormuz is just a piece of cake. It's as easy as pie. It's part of our basic capabilities of the Iranian armed forces, the Navy of the and also the IRGC's Navy. Today we have exited the Strait of Hormuz. We're in the Indian Ocean conducting our drills. When we are present, this area, that is the Strait of Hormuz, is right behind us. Therefore, when I say it's as easy as pie, it's really a piece of cake. It's so easy for us to do. But one of the goals of our maneuvers is bringing about lasting security in the region and to show our military prowess. We're not waiting for them to say if we are able or unable. This is part of our very basic ability where we're just left it behind us. And for my last questions, two questions, maybe a couple together. Today you have test-fired new missiles and successfully, if you could elaborate on that a little bit, and also will they have some more maneuvers like the ones we have conducted in 10 days? Well, the military drills that we'll have in the future all are related to the time schedule, the time frame that we have intended for the new year. This is our schedule, and maybe sometimes unexpectedly we might just want to display or assess part of our capability. In that situation, we get ready immediately and conduct the drills. I should now announce that if we decide, if need be, if we decide at a certain juncture of time to conduct our military drills, that could be unexpected, but based on our schedule, we have our own annual drills, which we're conducting. Now, as for the missiles that you asked about today, well, we had several launches. We launched this torpedo that is totally domestically built from the class submarine that was done successfully. It was a great move, and it's aligned with promotion upgradation of the Navy's capabilities. Before this, we have launched the same torpedoes, but this was a new kind of torpedo, the like of which was conducted before. We also had shoulder-fired missiles against aerial targets that also acted successfully. And part of the launching of the shoulder-fired missiles relate to the skills of the person who launches it. We assess it to be at a very favorable level. We also had surface-to-air Mehrab or Alter missile. This is, again, 100% made in Iran. It's really capable and powerful missile with the suitable range, with the right targeting precision. And today we really enjoyed the launching of this Mehrab missile. And thank God, with the precision we expected, it did work like that and hit the target, and this added to our capability.
Thank you very much, Admiral Sayyari, for giving us this wonderful time, this opportunity to talk to our viewers. And Marzi, it's all that I've got tonight. The drills are going to continue until tomorrow, as Admiral just told me. So it's all back to you at the studio.
All right, thanks so much, Kanbar, for that report. And as I said earlier, hopefully you can get some rest now. Well, continuing with this World News Bulletin now, the former UN arms inspector in Iraq, Scott Ritter, says the U.S. will not be able to defeat Iran in a possible war. Ritter says Iranians are ready to defend their country to death. He added that the U.S. did not win the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, and there is no sense in going to war with Iran. He said decades of sanctions have failed to weaken Iran's military. Ritter accused Israel of trying to portray a negative image of the Islamic Republic to persuade the U.S. into stopping Tehran's nuclear energy program. Ritter said the U.S. and Israel have already waged a war on Iran by killing its scientists and by sabotaging the computer systems of Tehran's nuclear facilities. Well, in other news this hour, the leader of Iran's Islamic Revolution, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei, says the country has emerged victorious against the hegemonic powers' complicated economic and propagandistic campaigns. Ayatollah Khamenei described Iran's achievements in nuclear technology and its resistance against Western sanctions as part of its outstanding accomplishments. He said the trend of Iran's breakthroughs will go on. Ayatollah Khamenei made the comments in a meeting with the members of the Islamic Society of Iranian students in Europe. He also said the enemies have failed in their plots against Iran, despite their huge political, economic, and intelligence campaigns against the country. And now to Bahrain, where Saudi-backed forces have attacked anti-regime protesters across the kingdom. Dozens of people have been injured, one critically. Now, police helicopters have been seen hovering over protest sites. Activists say several people have been detained. Thousands of Bahrainis were out on the streets mourning the death of a 15-year-old boy. Sayyid Hashim was killed by Saudi-backed forces during an anti-regime protest on Saturday. He's the latest victim in a deadly crackdown against demonstrators. Now, the government has asked the public prosecutor to investigate the death. Since mid-February, dozens of people have been killed and hundreds of others arrested. A report published last month has revealed that forces loyal to the ruling Al Khalifa family have used unnecessary force and have tortured many people. Well, thousands of Yemenis have staged rallies in different cities demanding the trial of the country's dictator Ali Abdullah Saleh. Now, the demonstrators say they want Saleh to face justice for the killing of protesters during the months-long uprising. The nationwide protests come just a day after Saleh reversed his earlier decision to fully transfer power and to leave the country. Protesters say the decision is an attempt to consolidate Saleh's control over the regime in the face of ongoing anti-regime demonstrations.